have you around. See, I needed you here for that. You were giving us clarity.
So in all these different things, in all the clairs, it's all about specifically being to sense clearly,
Right.
whether it's clairaudient
Right.
or
However,
any of
it's
the other.
coming in.
Right.
That is the end part of the clair word.
Right.
Right.
But basically, what it means is you're getting the message clearly.
Right. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for adding that. I needed that. So then let's go on to clairsentient, which is clear sensing, feeling the present, feeling the future, having your emotional ability, having the ability to get information, whether it's from touching a house or touching whatever. So clairvoyance is clear seeing, clairsentient is clear feeling, clairaudient is clear hearing. So there's claircognizant, which is clear knowing. It's the ability to know something without having already been educated on those particular facts. You're just born knowing it. So I was just sort of born knowing sign language. So I'm a sign language interpreter, and I speak multiple languages within sign language. So, I just talk to everybody clearly. So as a child, I had this ability to just speak to dead people and speak to deaf people and dead people. It was fun. So it was just sort of that born knowing kind of thing. Then the other clair is, now this one I'm going to butcher the name. So there's a couple I butcher the name. I just do them. I don't do the names very well, but it's clairariance or clairalliance. I can't say it right, but it means clear smelling. Yeah. So a lot of times because I do my readings in the Akashic Records, and while I'm in the Akashic Records, I will be picking up on certain smells.
Really?
So yeah, it's really cool.
That's cool. I never knew that.
I have all the clairs. All my clairs are activated. So I can be talking to somebody and then all of a sudden I can be smelling a lilac. And I can say, hey, by the way, lilacs are coming in strong. I'm picking up the smell of lilacs or whatever, or sugar cookies.
So you have clairgustance too.
Right. Well, yes.
Taste?
I do.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's clear tasting. Right. I do. Because I can taste certain things. Sometimes when I smell something, I can taste it automatically as well.
I can see bad aspects of that are good.
Yeah, well, it's problematic when there's certain foods that you're not eating.
Yeah, okay.
Or if somebody comes in to see me and all I can taste is alcohol and I really don't like alcohol.
Right.
And I don't like alcohol, period. And that's why I don't do events where people are drinking, because it's interfering with what I'm getting and it's interfering with their ability to open up and it's interfering with their ability to hear me and remember what I'm talking about. But yes. So there's clear tasting, smelling, knowing, feeling, hearing, all the clairs. Those are what I call the clairs. So you can have one of those activated. You can have 3 of those activated. You can have all of those activated. Everybody is different. So give yourself permission to know that it's okay if you have just one of those. And just one of those is a gift.
Right.
Having all of them at times is a little overwhelming, but I've turned it into working for me.
Cool.
I've learned to do that.
Maybe sometime we can get together and you can help me figure out what all I can actually, what mine are all called.
I think you're very similar to me, actually, in how you work. All the clairs are working for you.
Yeah.
And that's what I call them. I call them all the clairs.
I wish they could clean house.
I know. Don't I know it? I do not have that gift.
That's not part of your clair.
No.
So. What would we call
clair.
That? What would we call that?
Clair cleaner. I don't have that. That went way by the wayside multiple lifetimes ago.
Oh, thanks.
I am.
Now you tell me.
I know. I'm open and honest with you.
I know, I'm teasing you.
I have a past life problem that one needs to go.
Well, hopefully it'll be better next life.
Next life, yeah. You can chime in on that one. So why don't you share some other types of psychic gifts?
Alrighty, well, let's see. Well, this is something that I did experience at times, and I did get involved in when I was actually a Christian. It's called bibliomancy. See, I'm butchering it too. Bibliomancy.
Yeah, but there you go. Yeah.
And basically what it is you pick a passage out of the Bible at random, and you can speak on it at length without knowing, never having read it or not knowing the background about it or anything else, and be spot right on and have the information channeled to you through higher powers.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And it did cause a stir at times. But especially if it was contradictory to what the old man up behind the pulpit was trying to preach.
Well.
But, that's the way it goes.
Right. So let's talk about some of the other gifts that people might be experiencing and maybe not know how to categorize it.
Oh, well, there is cartomancy.
Okay.
Well, that is all about using regular playing cards like tarot cards.
Yes.
Which I think is pretty cool.
It is.
I wouldn't have a clue how to do it, but
no.
Possibly you do.
I had a reading with somebody. Actually, I've had a couple of readings with different people that were doing that. And it's really neat. That is another very sort of traditional way of reading the cards. And each card, much like a tarot card, each card has its own meaning, whether it's upright or reversed. You really have to know your cards well to do that, because there's no pictures to go by and there's no words for cheat sheets and there's none of that. You really have to know your craft very, very well. And you have to have all your clairs really opened up to get all of your information to be downloaded at the same time. It's a really cool way to read. I do not read that way, but others have. I know the... I think it's called the Witch's Tarot or Witch's something, the Witch cards. They look like the size of playing cards. And they do have the playing card face on them along with some other witch messages. And those I had growing up. My mom actually had those when I was a little girl. I used to play with those. Much to her dismay sometimes. But those did have the card markings on them, the regular playing card markings on them with some additional information. They were really kind of fun. They were really kind of neat.
So there's also one called ceromancy, and that is where you burn a candle and you drip the wax into water, and you read the water and the wax together. Right. I do something kind of sort of like that.
Yep.
Whenever I do a home cleansing and I do an Epsom salt and alcohol burn to clean out the energies.
Yeah.
After it all burns away, I can actually read the salt residue.
Oh, cool. So it's on the idea of scrying.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
So scrying... I
can see who or what it was that I pulled out of the house.
So scrying is when you look into a multitude of things. You can look into a crystal ball. You can look into a crystal. You can look into a bowl of water. You can look into a black mirror. You can look into a whole myriad of things. And you are seeing images, whether you're seeing them with your eyes or you're seeing them with your third eyes. Images and information are coming to you, and that's scrying. It's cool. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. There's also channeling. Now, I have mixed feelings.
I do too.
I mean, I'm okay with some information coming to me, but I'm just not willing to allow something else to completely come into me.
Nor do I.
There's no way. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
No, nor do I. I say they can come and they can stand on my right side. So the majority of them come and stand on my right side. When they stand on my left side, something else is up, and that's okay. That's fine. But they stand on my right side and they, in a sense, whisper in my ear. And that's as close as I let them get.
Right. Well, I'm okay with them actually downloading information into my head, if you will. But I have no desire whatsoever to take on their persona or their voice or any of that stuff.
Nope, I have forbidden it. They are allowed to come and speak to me. And I have said before, and I'll say it again, I have visiting hours for the living and I have visiting hours for the dead. And you need to visit during your time.
Yep.
Coming to me at 2 a.m. is not your time. When your loved one is in front of me, that's when your time is that you're able to visit me.
So I have something here that there may also be other people that do as well, and it is specifically related to martial arts.
Oh.
And it is called cladomancy.
You're butchering these words, but we know the meanings of them.
Oh, here it is. Never mind. Koskineomancy. And what it basically is, it's developing your senses to the point that during combat you can sense and know exactly what your opponent's next move is going to be.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, what's that series that we've been watching? They do that in that series.
Oh, Daredevil?
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yes, so they do a lot of that because the primary character is blind.
Right. But he kind of has a radar thing going on.
Yeah, he does.
But for me, when I did it, it was because for a time, my training included fighting multiple combatants blindfolded.
Cool.
So I was blindfolded and they would attack me. And my other senses were developed enough that I would hear and kind of feel them, feel where they were.
Right.
Kind of like Daredevil.
Yeah.
But of course, not quite that good, but, with the 20 pounds I gained.
That's all right. Looks good on you.
So what else do you have, babe?
So, the reason we're talking about this is we get so many people that say to us, gee, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm hearing voices. Is that okay? And, I really have mixed. Now, I'm not a doctor. Just know I'm not a doctor. But I really have mixed feelings about the mental health field. There's some wonderful people in the mental health field, don't get me wrong. But I think sometimes some of the voices might be psychic information.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, if it's telling you to harm yourself or harm somebody else, that is, of course, not okay and not appropriate. But a lot of this other information that is coming in could be of benefit. So pay attention, and if it becomes too overwhelming, just start writing it down, or just say, only give me this information from this time to this time. You can put limits on this. You just need to be sort of firm and clear on what it is that you want and don't want. And when we're just going to say psychicness starts kicking in, and for most of us, for all of us, it kicks in and as a child. And as a child, when all of this is sort of working, if we don't have the proper support around us, it gets scary. And I can understand that some adults might be equally scared by it. I can understand that. But I get people that come to me as adults that would freak out the adults or their parents or whomever when they were children. So it's almost like I have some repair work on a soul level to do with my clients, and I know you've seen the same thing.
Yeah.
When children are talking to the dead, like I did, it's not a bad thing. Just pay attention. You're getting the messages. Hey, you're getting a free reading. It's good.
So you're able to talk to the dead and sense the dead and all of that in your readings and in how you do your thing.
Right.
For me, it's a little bit different because I do get information from the other side, but it's kind of different for me because I'm an empath.
Right.
And
so what's an empath?
An empath is somebody that can sense, whether they want to or not, oftentimes, the feelings of others, past or living.
Mm-hmm.
And, in fact, I have gone to great lengths to develop classes to teach people how to defend themselves when they're an empath. Because, if you don't know how to do it, oftentimes you're directly influenced by the emotions of those people around you. So if somebody walks up to you, or you have to be around somebody at work that doesn't like you, or is angry or unhappy or whatever, all of that bleeds off into you. And before you know it, you're upset, you're stressed out, you're angry, and you're just filled with rage, and you have no idea why.
Right. And you're picking up on everybody else.
You're picking up on everybody else. And empaths have a tendency to have self-esteem issues. They also have a deep-seated need to make other people happy.
And the emotions can go from
all over the place,
ecstatic to very upset, because they're picking up on everybody's everything.
You're flip-flopping
right.
continually.
Right.
So, and that's why I came up with my centering meditation and empathic defense.
Right, and you're teaching that tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that's right, I am. I forgot all about that.
See, I psychically knew you were teaching that tomorrow.
I need to print off that lesson plan.
Yeah. But all of the classes can be taught through Skype. So if you are not here near our shop, which is located in Wells, Maine, and coincidentally is called Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff. So if you're not local, I know. See the pattern. If you're not local to us, most of our classes can be taught through Skype. For anywhere in the world, you can just connect with us through video Skype, and you can find out what the list of our classes are by going to our website, which is www.chrisann-jeff.com. ChrisAnn dash or hyphen Jeff JEFF.com. So Jenny, who does our website, who's fantastic, Jenny puts all of our classes posted right there on the website. So if there's ever anything that you're interested in and you're not in the area, it is wonderful to just contact us and see if that class by that instructor is offered through video Skype. We do teach the majority of the classes here, but we are thrilled to have a lot of visiting different psychics coming to do readings, a lot of visiting instructors. We're going to be having a big crystal show here next month, actually. Yeah. So we have a lot.
Yeah. Attending classes in person at our shop is wonderful, but it can be wonderful through Skype too, because Skype is a one-on-one situation.
Right. Right. And you can Skype in with the class.
Yeah. A couple of, being an empath isn't all bad.
No.
I mean, there are a lot of good things that come of that. When I'm doing a reading, I can actually pick up emotions from others on the other side and relay their emotions to those people I'm doing readings for. If they have somebody that's passed, I'm able to calm those emotions, the loss, reassure them, communicate with the person on the other side, the emotions back and forth. As a healer, it's wonderful because I can sense, I believe that I'm more sensitive to where the issues lie when I'm doing Reiki.
Did I tell you my favorite story? I'll tell you my favorite story.
Please.
So I do not remember my readings except for a few that really stick out. And this is one that really stuck out. I was at a home party quite a few years back. So I was in somebody else's home doing readings for a whole group of her girlfriends. So I was reading for one of the girlfriends, and her mom had passed away not too long before the reading, and she really wanted to communicate with her mother. So, okay, we sat down and we started the reading, and I connected with her mom, and oh my gosh, she started yelling at me. Her deceased mom was just completely chewing me a new one. And I was like, oh my goodness, I had never had that experience before in my life. And I thought, what am I going to tell this poor grieving daughter? So this poor crying woman in front of me, because I'll never forget, because I was just unbelievable about what I was going to do. I was really upset about it. And I said to her, I take it your mother was Catholic? And she said, yes, how'd you know? And I said, well, she's telling me she doesn't believe in psychics. And at that point, the woman burst into laughter. And she's like, that's my mom. You're connecting with my mom. And I thought, oh my goodness. So we kind of laughed. And then I kind of went back and spoke to her mom. And I said, I'm sorry you don't believe in psychics, but guess what? You're talking to one. And she still proceeded to yell at me because she was really upset. I guess because she'd been wrong for so many years. And, not that all Catholics are wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But I really thought this was funny. And as it turned out, she really did need some energy work. Even on the other side, I still sent her mom some energy work because she really needed to calm down. Because most of the time when we cross over, we leave a lot of our baggage here behind. We leave a lot of the emotional things. We leave a lot of our stressors. Clearly, this woman didn't get the message. It was really one that I have never forgotten. It was a lesson that I needed. And it was a lesson at a good time, and luckily the daughter was a delight to read for. And, she was just laughing hysterically, and clearly it was what she needed. She needed to raise her vibration and laugh, and the confirmation that her mom really was okay. Yes, cantankerous, but still okay on the other side. So there's my story. That's one of my favorite stories.
Cool.
So we're going to take a little bit of a commercial break. When we come back, we are going to talk about some more funny stories, because I've got some more stories for you. And we're going to talk about some more. You're going to educate us on some more psychic things and more gifts.
Sure. With your love of seafood, I've got a special one for you.
Uh-oh. And we'll butcher some more names.
Absolutely.
That we're good at. So you've been listening to Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff. And you're listening on the Pagan Business Network radio. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
Are you looking for something special? For something more than mass-produced and ineffective magical wares? Then let me tell you about Beau Magique, with their wonderfully unique magical wares carefully handcrafted in small batches. From her charged waters using artisan well water gathered under the full moon, to their authentically crafted conjure and anointing oils, powders, and more. All handcrafted by Reverend Terry Brookins, using old and new recipes and super secret sources to be able to share her own brand of magic with everyone. Visit beaumagique.com. That's BEAUXMAGIQUE.com. Visit today. This is what you've been looking for. Are you ready to have some fun? Then come and check out Raven's Shadow Crafts, home of the Poppet with a Pocket. These unique handmade poppets come ready to go, pre-stuffed with herbs and in colors designed for your intent. They also have a pocket on the back to add any herb, stone, or personal item you want to make this poppet complete. Just charge and it's ready to go. Other handmade items are gree-gree bags, goddess symbols, mini skull magnets, and more. So check them out on Facebook at Raven's Shadow Crafts. Park your broom and stay a spell. That's www.facebook.com/ravensshadowcrafts. We'll see you there.
Hello and welcome back to Elemental Energies
with
ChrisAnn and Jeff. And you're listening to Pagan Business Network Radio. Welcome back. So we are continuing our fun conversation about developing your gifts, what your gifts are. How do we know what your gifts are called? Because, I mean, for years, I never knew what half these things are. I still get confused as this is this and that. It's just what I do. What I do is what I do. So now we're going to try and label them.
Right. And every single person on this planet has gifts.
Absolutely.
And each person, their combination of gifts is completely unique to them.
Right. Which is so neat.
It is. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And I think as teachers, we equally learn from our students.
Oh, yeah.
As
Absolutely.
much as we are hoping to educate them. Because everybody coming in has their own unique set of really fun tools in their tool bag that maybe is completely different than us.
Well, and when I teach, I like to teach them how I do it, and then I encourage them to take what I teach them and make it their own.
Absolutely.
Develop it to their own use.
Right.
Whatever makes them more powerful is what I want.
Right. Because that's the name of the game. We're all on this big planet together, so let's share. And I think it's the same thing with Reiki. You know, as Reiki master teachers, I think it's great to give our students those tools.
Right.
And then what they do with those tools is something completely different. Which leads me to my other story that I have.
Okay.
And this is a story that was going on in a Reiki class that I did. And this Reiki class was probably, I don't know, at least 4 years ago, if not 5 years ago. I was teaching this Reiki class, and it was a Reiki master class. So these gals that were in the class, you know, they had already known their stuff. They were just, you know, wrapping it all up, basically. And so I had one in the class that I knew and one in the class that I didn't know. And the one that I didn't know was on the table. And she looked perfectly fine. There was nothing that you could see that stood out visually as being a health problem.
Right.
So I step up to the table. So I teach my students, step up to the table, feel what you feel, step back from the table, reassess how you feel, step up to the table again, because that's how you are feeling in your body, what's going on with your client. So you need to be aware of what's going on in your body before you step up to the table. But when you step up to the table, feel what's going on before you even scan the body. You can already be picking up some psychic information. Because I'm a psychic, I teach those psychic kind of things.
Right.
So step up to the table, tell me what you're feeling before you even scan the body. So that's what we were doing. And geez, as I was doing that, I got kicked in the right leg. And of course there was nobody there, you know, it was her brother who was on the other side who was kicking me in the leg on this certain spot on my right leg. And, you know, I wanted to kick him back for crying out loud. You know, I had a brother too. So, you know, so I said to her, your brother is drawing attention to this part of your leg. What's going on? And she had just had a broken leg. And she had been in a cast for a very long time, but her leg looked great. She had finished physical therapy. She had finished all that.
Cool.
But he was drawing attention, you know, and I wanted to say, can't you just tell me right leg, this, but no, he had to kick me. Knock it off. Yeah. So it's that type of stuff that we really need to pay attention to, and we really need to be aware of, because some of that stuff isn't ours. It's our clients. Leave it with our clients. I don't want her brother. I got my own brother.
Yeah.
So, you know, who I'd love to kick in the leg.
I'm glad you were telling me these stories about when you taught me.
No. No, but, you know, there are certain there are certain sort of readings that you do that stick out, or certain, stories. I like to call my stories. Certain stories that I have that are really good that I do like to share with my students. I do like to share, with my radio listeners, because they are here to help educate.
Absolutely.
So, those are my first 2 stories.
Cool.
Go ahead. Give us some more information on some more.
Okay.
Stuff.
First off is a real funny one that, I thought you might enjoy being a seafood lover. It's called, and I'm going to kill this one
butcher
too.
It, yeah.
Ichthyomancy.
Okay, yeah.
It is a prophetic observation of head and entrails of fish.
Gee, thanks. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So anyway.
So it's using
fish heads and guts to
do readings.
Well, I never thought about that when I'd go fishing. Taking the head and the.
Well, it's like reading the chicken bones.
Yeah, that's true.
People take the chicken bones and they put them in the bag and they shake them up like the runes and they put them out on the table and you read the chicken bones.
So, what do you think? This one I won't butcher.
Okay.
What do you think hippomancy is?
I'm going to let you tell us.
Do you think it's watching a hippo wallow in mud?
Oh, absolutely.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's divination by observing the appearance, neighing, and foot stamping behavior of horses.
Yes. Yeah, hippotherapy is what they call therapy for children or adults on horses.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's called hippotherapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why hippo?
I don't know. I don't get it either.
I mean, it's like, okay, excuse me.
I don't know. I'm
horse,
sure somebody out there knows, but it's not me. I'm not that type of psychic. I don't know. But I know hippotherapy is therapy on a horse. Yes, because my son did it for years. And I remember when they first suggested it to me, I was like, you want him to do what? But it's a great thing. So it's dealing with horses. It's great. And actually, it's interesting. Another interesting side note on this one too. Whenever I get people, because I do animal communication as well, both living and deceased. So whenever I get horse people that come to me, I get a ton of horse people. It's really, really funny. When I get the horse people that come to me, most of them are amazing healers because horses are very akin to unicorns. And unicorn energy is amazing healing energy. So horses are really intuitive. Horses are really smarter than I think what a lot of people like to give them credit for. It's kind of neat. Yep. It's really a neat thing to work with horses. Not that the other animals aren't wonderful, because they are, but every animal has their own sort of unique set of gifts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've got a story for you.
Go ahead.
Well, you already know that how much I enjoy doing Reiki on animals.
Yes.
You know what I did for your little dog?
Yes.
You remember?
Thanks. You fixed him. He's been barking all damn night.
Well, hey, you didn't tell me you wanted to put him down, so I went ahead and pulled him back.
I didn't.
So,
I didn't.
Anyway, I know you didn't. I'm teasing you.
Yes. Go ahead.
I'm teasing you. So anyway, I had told you about that full-size poodle that woman had that was dying.
Yes.
And
so share that story with us. That's a wonderful story.
Well, I was at work, and this woman knew that I did Reiki, and she knew I'm psychic. I don't hide it. I'm not in the closet or anything.
Oh, we're totally out of the broom closet here.
Yeah, absolutely. I go out of my way to advertise it, actually.
Right.
But anyway, so she was driving around with her dog in the back of her pickup truck. You know, it had a shell and there was a blanket and food and everything back there. But she's a painter, and she brought it to work because she couldn't leave the dog at home because it was bleeding. Out of both ends.
Oh, poor baby.
And, you know, it had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
It was really tired.
Yeah.
It was in a lot of pain. It was really tired. And I spent some time with the dog, and I was trying to ease its pain and, you know, bring it peace, and so it would cross over easy.
Right.
As it turns out, I ended up healing the dog.
Awesome.
But as I knew when I did it, it was completely temporary.
Yeah. Yes.
And so she came to me actually yesterday at work and let me know that she had to put her dog down. But she was happy and she was thankful that she had that extra month to let go, to
How
say
wonderful.
Goodbye.
What a gift. Yeah. What a gift for both of them.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And she was at a place, the dog was the only companion she had. Oh. And so by that time she was at a place where she was okay letting go.
Oh, good. Good. So I know sometimes we can't stop the inevitable.
We all die.
We do.
Nobody gets out alive.
Yeah. No. No. Some are a little longer than others. You know, we choose our path before we come in on a soul level, depending on what it is that the soul chooses to work on. So on a soul level, our path is predestined. And it's sort of some of the bumps in the road are predestined, and some are here to teach us lessons, and people are here to teach us lessons, and experiences are lessons. Everything is a lesson on a soul level, whether we like it or not. Yep. You know, when we see pain and suffering, it's really gut-wrenching, and it's really sad and horrible and terrible. But we have to decide on a soul level, what is that soul trying to go through and experience it, and why? Whether it's an animal or a person. You know, we all have our sort of path that we need to accomplish because of the soul lessons.
Yep.
So what else do our souls need to learn about and do? And what else are our souls picking up on?
Well, I have tons of things here.
Okay, go ahead.
There's some really strange ones. Margaritomancy. Okay. Now, that is not going to the bar and sucking down pictures of margaritas until you can divine what the salt on the counter looks like. What that is actually pearl divination. Pearls were either cast into a pot over a fire or prophetically observed in oyster shells.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to read the tea leaves.
Tea leaves?
Yes. So growing up, people would always be stopping by the house.
Well, there's palm readers and everything else. Well, I had a palm reader give me a really interesting reading one time on my hands. She was really quite amazed at the lines, and I'm like, well, you know,
I'll have to look.
I am a remodeling contractor. So.
My aunt's from Thailand. My biological uncle married her. I still call her my aunt. That's fine. So she taught me palm reading when I was a little girl. Yes.
I'll have you take a look.
I'll have to look. Yes. Yeah. But I'm getting back to my grandfather.
Cool.
My grandfather, who was a real hoot in life, he still is a hoot.
I remember his story. Oh.
So he would have people come over all the time, and my grandmother would make the tea, and he would read the tea leaves for them. But my grandfather was a barber, so he used to read people's heads. And that's in there. There's a name to that.
Bumpology or something.
I don't remember what it's called. But he would read the folds in people's heads, and he could read, if you're bald, you know, there's lines and there's all that other type of stuff. But he would feel people's heads, and he could read that. It was really kind of neat, really kind of cool. So did you find it?
Yep, bumpology.
Is it? That's cool. Yeah, so he would do that. So, yes. He would always be having people over their house. And, of course, my grandmother would have to make all the tea and do all the baking and cooking, which she was oh so thrilled about. But she taught me also when I was a little girl how to read people's faces. So that was really, really neat. So she used to teach me how to look for different characteristics on the face. And, of course, you're always looking for somebody that's always smiling. That's why I try to always smile.
I know.
Sometimes it's hiding the truth.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
That's okay. You're trying to put on a happy face.
I am. Because, you know, life has bumps in it. We all experience that. But, yes, and my grandmother would read people's faces, and my grandfather was reading their heads and their tea.
Yep.
So yeah, it was interesting. So what else you got for us?
Well, there's a lot of people that get messages through dreams as
Yes,
well.
absolutely. The veil is thinner when we're sleeping. So it's easier for them to make contact with us. So yeah, very good point.
So I do get some. I don't so much get prophetic dreams as I do past life dreams.
Ah.
And I never, ever, 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 hardly ever remember any dream
I know you've told me that.
unless it has meaning.
Yes.
Unless it is a past life dream
Mm-hmm.
or something that I really need to look at or know. And that's how I came to love the Elder Fulthark runes.
Cool.
Was through a past life dream. And all the information just comes to me
Wonderful.
from the past.
I'm a lucid dreamer, which means I do not, quote unquote, regular dream. Just about all of my dreams are lucid dreams, which means the way I like to explain it is when I come to a crossroads in my dream, I can actually cognitively decide whether I want to go down the right-hand path or the left-hand path. And I can have this whole conversation in my head, in my dream, about, well, gee, I like that path because it's lined with lilac trees. And gee, I don't like that path because it looks bumpy. And I have these sort of cognitive conversations. So I don't really sleep very well. I don't really rest very well because I always lucid dream. Very, very rarely do I have a dream, and those are prophetic dreams when I have those. But a lot of times in my lucid dreams, people I'm going to be reading for will pop up in my dreams, so I can be getting the messages for them for the next day's reading or whatever. So all of that can take place within my dreams. Or
you should charge extra for
I
that.
should charge extra, and that's why I put a stop to it. I put a stop to it, and I said the dead can only visit me when their loved ones are in front of me, because it was getting overwhelming with so many readings. It was just getting really on it.
Put the skids to it.
So let's talk about some of the ways that people might get some information coming in. Let's talk about like Ouija boards.
Oh yeah.
We love Ouija boards.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
We're not against Ouija boards at all.
No.
Let me tell you why.
In any of their forms.
No. I mean, number one, you carve them. You carve them out of stone.
Yep.
And you make some beautiful Ouija boards that look like huge, massive gravestones that have just been snapped right off. But you carve it that way. You carve it to look like that.
I don't do that for any reason other than
it's cool
to be fun with it.
Right.
You know?
It's really neat. Yeah. But you carve them. You carve the planchette. Everything's carved out of stone.
Yep.
But I was using Ouija boards even as a kid. Were you? Were you using them then?
Oh.
You grew
No
up
way.
very, very, very Catholic.
No way. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You probably didn't have a Ouija board in your house.
I was going to talk about that, too. Some of the funner things like exorcism. There you go. I got threatened with exorcism one time. Actually, that's why I left the Catholic Church.
Wow.
So, yeah, because the guy said that I may need to have an exorcism. I'm like, yeah, nothing that feels that good could be of the devil. So
right.
He was just an old creep.
Mm.
So anyway, enough
Ouija
about
boards.
that.
So Ouija boards, I don't have a problem with Ouija boards. The dead have a sense of humor. Go with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are getting some negative things in a Ouija board. You
know what I tell people?
Yeah.
You get out of a Ouija board what you take in with you.
Right. And
if you're looking for negative, if you're looking for nasty things to happen, then, that's what you're going to find. If you're looking to talk to somebody or communicate with somebody that's passed, that you loved, that's what you'll get. If you're looking for, if you will, demons or something of some sort, then,
as long as you're working with somebody that you trust, the living person.
Usually it's the inexperienced people that are
all over the place.
In trouble.
Right.
Or have trouble, I should say.
But to me, there's no difference between using a Ouija board and using a pendulum.
No, not
They're
at all.
both forms of divination.
And pendulum boards.
Right,
They're
and you
like
carve
little
beautiful
Ouija
pendulum
boards.
boards too that look like Ouija boards. Right, they're awesome. So pendulum is just, well, for ours, it's carved stone or beads or glass or some fun crystal, something at the end of a chain. And, we ask it yes, no questions. We use our pendulums for healing. We use them for time frames. Yeah, I mean, for us, pendulums are a great part of our readings. So we use those all the time. And then, of course, you carve runestones,
Yep.
which are amazing. And that's
Thank you.
another form of divination. And then there's tarot cards and oracle cards and all those fun cards. That's another form of divination. It's another form of, all of this is a form of trust. Listening to your intuition, trusting the information
Absolutely.
that's coming in, and what are you going to do with the information? I think they're all great. And then, we had already talked about scrying, so you can get some information from scrying. You can get information by your intuition coming in, your intuition being open and clear and aware. And you can get some information by meditating. Lots of people meditate. That is a wonderful way to clear and connect up. I'm someone that when they meditate, I have to keep a notebook because all the information comes in and I have to write everything down and it drives me nuts. So my meditating is a little bit different, but that's okay. People meditate with drums. They meditate with singing bowls. They meditate with a whole host of types of music.
I meditate with candle flame.
Right. That's a great way to clear your mind. And people use guided meditation. There's all different types of meditation. You can meditate during a yoga class. You can do a walking meditation through the woods, at the beach, whatever. It just puts you in that place of Zen. It just puts you in that clearer place so your mind is clearer so you can receive the messages. It's a great way to work. It's a great way to get the messages to come in. It's wonderful. What other types of divination have I left out?
You forgot myomancy.
Okay, what's that?
It is an ancient form of divination by observing the behavior of rats and mice.
I'm going to leave that one out.
So just so everybody knows, I don't know these things that I'm coming up with. It's actually part of the glossary, if you will, of a book that I wrote.
Yes.
And I have all these different gifts and their meanings, and it's A to Z. And I mean to tell you, some of these things are kind of horrid. It's like, really, where did they give these things?
I remember some of those. People read shells. There's great. So I have those shell cards. There's a deck of shell cards, but you can actually do readings with actual shells. But the shell cards are fantastic. So those are really cool. And we talked about the chicken bones earlier. People use those.
And there's nachomancy, which is fingernail fortune telling by watching the reflection of sunlight on oiled fingernails. And interpreting the symbols that you see in the oiled fingernail.
Well, at least it's not fingernail clippings that we're reading, because that would be really gross. I thought that's what you were going with that one.
No,
so
no.
I'm glad.
I used to have a neighbor that used to feed his dog his fingernails.
That's disgusting. We won't go there. So that one sounds like it's kind of like a form of scrying as well. So you're oiling the fingernails and then you're looking. All right. So some of these are getting a little kooky, but that's okay. That's okay. Everybody does things in their own way. And you know what?
But there's a lot of them that are here that really make a lot of sense.
Yes. And we do some things that other people think are really kooky. I mean,
absolutely.
We do readings with our crystals. You'll be the first in line to say you do. But we do readings with crystals.
Yeah.
We intuitively know which crystal is right for somebody. But
absolutely.
When we're got somebody on the Reiki table, we intuitively know where to go and do the healing work.
Yeah.
And know when to work on what level, whether it's the physical level, the emotional level, or the spiritual level. All of that, we have to listen. We have to pay attention. We have to clear our minds so that we are able to work for the highest and best good.
Well, we talk to our stones in a way as well. I'll be the first to admit I don't have a clue what 90% of my stones are. When I
That's where I
them,
come in.
Well, yeah, that's where you come in. But when I bring them to the table, or I'm choosing which I'm going to heal with, I choose them by knowing what their end result will be
Right.
for me to use.
And you're reading the vibration of the
Right.
stones. So that's really neat. I know. I wanted to talk about another way of meditating. Another way to meditate is by doing artwork.
Yeah.
When people paint, I'll just use the example of painting, knitting, crocheting, whatever your thing is. I mean, I like to do rug hooking as well. I like to do sewing. All of that is a form of meditation because you're able to just do that and kind of clear your mind, and it puts you in your Zen. So you're creating something wonderful that you can share with so many other people.
Well, I channel energy when I'm doing it as well. I know you do too. You channel energy into whatever it is that you're creating.
I do a lot of intuitive paintings for clients as well. So, yeah, it's kind of neat to just sort of let things happen. And a lot of times when I'm doing an intuitive painting for somebody, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't sit down and say, I'm going to paint a hummingbird.
Yeah.
Right, it is. It is just like that. And I do automatic writing too. So it's really kind of neat. That's how I used to do when I started the Akashic Records. I would do all automatic writing and just allow the words to just come and flow to the paper till I finally said, I am too exhausted from doing this. If you want me to do this, you just tell me. So that's how it got started with the speaking into my right ear thing.
Yeah, you got me started in the Akashic Records too, but the information comes to me in a different way too.
It does for everybody. Yeah.
And I actually have one set of tarot cards in particular that I use to access the Akashic Records.
Yep.
And it's very interesting.
The past life cards. Yes, we sell them here. Yep.
Yeah, but what they do for me is they tell me what my relationship is. Well, that's all I've used them for thus far, is to tell me what my relationship is to a given person I feel drawn to.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I've divided that deck up, and I use that deck a couple of different ways. I divided it up with location. I divided it up with profession. Yeah, the past life oracle cards are really kind of neat. Yeah, there's a multitude of different things. So there's professions, there's locations, there's all of that within that deck, and I like to divide it up into different piles. And not that I use that deck a lot because I don't need it. I just am obsessed with oracle cards.
Well, I actually I was very drawn to this young man. I felt an overwhelming need to help him in this lifetime. I can't explain it.
Right.
I couldn't explain it at the time.
Right.
Because I didn't really know him that well.
Right.
And he was the son of one of my friends, and it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And so I asked the cards. I went into the Akashic Records and I asked the cards, and it turns out that this young man was my daughter in a previous life that I abandoned. Oh. I abandoned her and her mother. At the time, I don't have any excuses. How can I make excuses for
not
for
this
a past
lifetime?
life?
It's not this lifetime.
Right.
It was another lifetime.
Right. So basically,
don't own it.
No.
Don't hold on to it.
No, basically what it was in that lifetime, it was an acceptable thing to do.
Right.
But I always, in that lifetime, I had always felt guilty for doing it.
Oh.
And then finding out later in life, in that lifetime, that I had a daughter after she had passed.
Oh, that's really sad.
After she had died from a disease at the time.
Right. Oh,
and so anyway, her mother suffered a lot. She suffered a lot. And in this lifetime, I was able to make up for a little bit of it.
Nice.
By helping him.
Right, by connecting with him.
Right.
Yes. And he really needed it. He needed the guidance. He needed the friendship. And I think you were able to give him that he wasn't able to get from anybody else.
Right.
So he did it.
And at that time, at that time in his life, in this lifetime, it was a way for me to give back.
Right. And I know you still reach out to each other. You still
every now and then. He's quite a bit younger, so it's a situation where he's give him his space, because to be perfectly honest, a lot of what he does I really don't understand.
Right.
You know.
And it's not just an age thing.
It's kind of his frame of mind. But anyway, he's a good kid.
And that's part of his soul's path too.
Right.
So we're going to continue talking more about gifts and different ways to develop the gifts and what these gifts are when we come back.
I want to find some more fun ones.
Okay, you find the fun ones. No gross ones. I'm sick of the gross ones.
Okay.
So get some good ones. But we will be right back. And you've been listening to Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff on Pagan Business Network Radio. We'll be right back.
Looking for that special item for your mantle or that one-of-a-kind gift for the love of your life? Visit us at Sleeping Griffin. We offer many items from pyrography to metaphysical supplies. Choose one of our regular designs on a keepsake box, crystal grid, or even design your own. Need a little help with your practice? Choose from our selection of organic, hand-mixed binding salts. Come and see our Etsy shop at Sleeping Griffin or visit our website at sleepinggriffin.net, where spirituality and functionality come together. This is a message from Hawthorne at Magic in Your Living Room. The Etsy shop includes ritual programs and gorgeous altar cloths. We feature ready-to-use rituals for only $3 or less. You get step-by-step instructions, including a list of necessary items, how to set up the altar, and a complete program for all ritual activity. We also have beautiful altar cloths for all holidays. Magic in Your Living Room is located at Etsy at www.etsy.com/shop/magic in living room or at www.magicinyourlivingroom.com.
Hello and welcome back
to Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff.
And I'm ChrisAnn.
I'm Jeff.
And you are listening to the Pagan Business Network Radio. So welcome back. We are continuing our conversation on different psychic gifts, how to label different gifts, what the gifts are, different ways to develop the gifts. So we're going to talk about more about developing the gifts too. But go ahead, Jeff. I know you're really having a blast over here with your crazy
This
things.
is one actually that I can do, and I think you can as well. It's called retrocognition.
Yep.
It's the ability to see the past by touching an object that had to do with an event or in regards to a person that you're doing a reading for.
Right. Yes, I've done that many, many times. A lot of people will bring me items, and it was actually kind of neat because I had a client many years ago who's a mutual friend of ours now, and he had brought me a arrowhead, a Native American arrowhead that he had found while he was out hunting. And he was out hunting out west. And he found the animal that he was hunting. I believe, I can't remember the story if the animal was on top of the arrowhead or the arrowhead was inside the animal. I don't remember which. But nonetheless, he came across the arrowhead because he was on a hunting expedition out west. And he was just really attracted to this arrowhead. He said, there's something going on with this arrowhead. So I held it in my hand, and I was able to see that this was part of his arsenal of tools that he had from a past life. And it had come back to him. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. He carries it every day. He carries it with him. In fact, I just took that arrow, and he's been a client of mine for, oh my gosh.
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about, yeah. Probably about 9 years he's been a client of mine. And now us. And he just brought the arrowhead to me because he tied a string around it and he wanted to make it into a pendulum. And it was such a sad excuse for a pendulum. I said, please give it to me. I will wire wrap it for you and I will make you a real looking pendulum. And he was extremely grateful. Yeah. But he carries that every single day. And it's really, really neat because he knew he was drawn to it. He just didn't understand. Mm. So, yeah.
Well, I actually do the opposite of that as well.
Oh,
I don't know what it's called.
Okay, yeah.
If it's called anything.
We'll come up with a crazy name.
But anyway, yeah, that's an idea. Let's create our own crazy name for it. Something that other people can't pronunciate. So anyway, what I did was really cool. I like doing custom work for people.
Yes.
It is so much fun to read a person that I've never met, their vibrations, and create special things for them.
Yes.
So this is a funny story.
Yeah.
I have this woman that had contacted me, and she lived in Europe.
Yeah.
So
I love this story.
So anyway, she contacted me, and she's like, one of my philosophies is never to say that I can't do something.
Yes.
I never try and limit myself.
Yes.
By saying that I can't do something. I try. If I fail, I fail. But no matter what, I'll try. Cool. So anyway, she knew that I carved stones. She knew that I worked with stone. And she contacted me, and I had made a set of runes for her that she was just ecstatic about.
Nice.
That brought a lot of energy into her life. And she said, okay, I want you to make me a wand. And I'm like, a wand? What? I work in stone. Well, okay, I'll do it.
Right.
So I read her energy.
Yeah.
And when I read her energy and purposed in my mind to create a wand for her, in my head pops this picture of a branch on the tree in my backyard where I used to live. And, I'm in the middle of the desert in Arizona. Right. And I walked right to the branch. I know exactly where it is.
Yep.
Never would have noticed it otherwise amongst the other million branches on the tree.
Yep.
And so I cut the branch, and I go to my spirit guides or whatever was giving me the information. I say, okay, what's next? Mm-hmm. So I wire wrap stones to it.
Yeah.
And feathers, desert feathers, quail, pheasant, different feathers. And I attach all this, and I contact her, and I'm like, it's on its way. I've never done this before, so
right.
I hope you like it.
Right.
And, especially seeing as how she already paid me. So I sent it to her, and she contacted me, and she was crying.
Oh, nice.
And she wanted to know how I knew that she was a full-blood American Indian.
Cool.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Who would ever suspect
that
an American Indian would be living in Europe?
Right. Well, it's possible.
Well, I know. She had married a European guy, and, and that's where she ended up. Mm-hmm. But it was really amazing, and it really reaffirmed in me that I needed to do.
Right.
I need to do everything.
Right.
Anytime I'm asked to help somebody in a way, if they're asking me, the universe is having them ask me because it's something that I can help them with.
Right.
So
I think that's a great segue into how people can start to develop some of these things. And we'll talk about some of your other crazy things in a minute. But I think a great way to develop your gifts is to just trust.
Yep.
Just believe, trust, open up, and
Go
allow
with your intuition.
it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to the voice in your head. Listen to if it's saying, do not step out onto the road right now.
Don't do it?
Don't.
Yeah.
Or
it took me a long time to just completely accept it.
Yeah.
And still sometimes I don't listen. But, usually I do.
So you've been listening to Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff, and you're listening on the Pagan Business Network Radio. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right.
I'm going to share with you a company founded on passion. A passion dreamed into existence by two lightworkers to share the gift of holistic healing with the world. Acting on the belief that infusing ritualistic components like the use of crystals and moon cycles, Reiki and more, enhances the quality and energetic profile of their alchemic creations and their spiritual workings. A passion for the rare and unique that touches all they create and do. What is this wonder-filled place, you ask? It's the altruistic apothecary, a place of magical items like rune sets, god and goddess statues, amulets and talismans, incense, bombs, bath salts, and more. A place of spiritual guidance and healing from an intuitive medicine woman, holistic health practitioner, and Reiki master, offering spiritual medium readings, rune readings, healing sessions, and more. It's there. They're ready. The door is open. All you have to do is ask, and they will share with you all the secrets they possess to help you on your path. Find them on Facebook or on their website, www.altruisticapothecary.com, ALTRUISTICAPOTHECARY.com. Wonder awaits you. The Raven's Rune is a spiritual resource center where you will find magical things for magical people. Handcrafted candles, incense, essential oil blends, and amazing hand-tooled custom leather goods. Check out their Wheel of the Year candle and incense packs. Each Sabbat has its own special blend, made during the correct moon phases by a practicing British traditional witch, to give your magic a boost. Using her knowledge and expertise, these products don't just smell good, they work. And you'll love the hand-tooled leather goods, Book of Shadows, journals, bracers, candle mats, and many other ritual tools. You'll revel in the magical feel of old-world craftsmanship. They also offer unique psychic readings. Liz is a talented sensitive. Her insightful readings are unique and come from many years of experience of working in the psychic and paranormal fields. Her compassion and empathy with clients make her readings truly meaningful. Let a consultation with this talented clairvoyant help you through the difficulties in your life and find the path to achieving your goals. So, if you're looking for unique and genuine magical wares and tools, be sure to check them out on Facebook at The Raven's Rune, or visit the website where you can see all their wonderful offerings. The Raven's Rune, www.theravensrune.ca.
Hello and welcome back to Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff. I'm ChrisAnn.
I'm Jeff.
And you are listening on the Pagan Business Network Radio. Welcome back. So we are talking about how to label your gifts, what are your gifts, how to know what your gifts are, how to develop your gifts. And you're talking about some crazy gifts.
Yeah, some of the less tasteful gifts.
Yeah. Of course, we all love gifts. Gifts, gift wrappers. Some of those are crazy. So why don't you go ahead and share some of the crazier ones with us?
Well, this is one that I've never tried. I don't imagine in this lifetime that you have either. It's called Tephromancy.
Uh-huh.
And
what's that?
Basically, it is the examination of ashes from burned sacrificial victims to divine future events.
Well, I do have a story. Believe it or not. I'm not.
Uh-oh.
I know.
All righty.
You just moved here from Arizona. I here from Arizona. And I got a story. Believe it or not, I have a story based on this.
Oh, really?
The funny thing about me is I collect people's ashes. Everybody that dies wants to be on my shelf. I have this beautiful curio cabinet where I have a lot of dead people and animals' ashes. I don't really use them for scrying or anything like that, but my former mother-in-law's in my living room. A delightful woman.
Yeah.
And I tease everybody, and I'll say, there's only so much room left on the shelf. Who's going to take up that space next? Come on.
Well, I hope it's not me for a while.
I hope it's not you either.
But I do have this beautiful biscotti jar that I'm saving for you.
I can put you in it.
I know.
But yeah, I'm lucky enough that people entrust me with their ashes.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, but that's cool. And my absolute favorite dog that I ever had I wear her ashes. Actually, her ashes are right here next to my desk.
Oh.
So did you know that I was actually keeping my dog's ashes right here next to my desk?
Cool.
I have a full container in that curio cabinet, but I have
bark?
but I have a little necklace that I wear of her ashes. So yeah, people give me ashes. Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, we have lots of ashes in my house. I do not use them for scrying. I do not use them to read anything. But yes, I have a collection of dead people's ashes and dead animals' ashes. So yeah, that wasn't too scary, was it?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Yeah, but you knew that. You knew I had that collection, though.
Having the food allergy with milk, this is something that I wish I could do.
Okay.
It's called tyromancy.
Yeah.
It's observing the process of the curds being made, cheese curds made, for omens in regards to the future.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
That's a little
another
different.
scrying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of scrying things here.
Yep, lots and lots of scrying. Yeah. Clouds and do scrying and see I know they probably have specific names, but that's a really good way to work with your children on developing their gifts is by laying down,
and
looking at the
trusting
clouds.
trusting your intuition as
well.
well.
Developing your creative sense as well, but just laying there and looking up the clouds. It's a lot of fun. And my son and I have done that in the car. We open up the sunroof. If you get stuck in traffic sometimes, let's watch the clouds. Let's do something that we can take our mind off of all this crazy traffic or whatever is going on. But yeah, we've gotten stuck in traffic jams or unfortunate accidents or whatever that you're just stuck in the line.
Yep.
So what else do you have for us that's a little kooky?
Stellosomancy.
Okay.
I butchered that one too.
Yep.
Deriving messages from the way people dress. In particular, noticing out of the ordinary happenings when dressing. Odd socks.
Why are you tapping me? I never wear matching socks.
Odd socks.
I never wear matching socks.
I know. I'm teasing you.
It drives you and my father nuts. I know.
No, I think it's cute.
Well,
I think it's cute.
I think
don't mind.
you've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
But I think you're hinting.
So my deal on this is, how badly they dress sometimes. But
as long as you're not pointing at me.
No.
I mean, I'm a funky dresser, but I always try and be somewhat professional.
I'm a funky dresser.
Oh, you're a funky dresser.
Especially at
definitely.
events. I love to dress different.
You funk it up. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You wear more scarves than I do at these events.
Yeah, well.
You steal my scarves.
I don't wear them as scarves, though. I mean.
No, you wear them around your waist.
No. Yeah, sash.
Right.
I sashay.
And actually, your picture was just in a magazine with you, with your sash
it was
on.
a lousy picture.
It was a lousy picture, but you were still there with your sash
I looked like I was going to kill somebody or something. Terrible.
I know, but your picture was still in a magazine. It was kind of cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fashion magazine.
No. It was a fashion do's and don'ts.
Well, I wouldn't go that far either.
Oh, but what? You made the magazine. I didn't make the magazine. You made the magazine. And I was there with you. So let's talk about the psychic fair that we just did. And
That's
what
a good
a wonderful time it was.
It was incredible. It was absolutely
So
incredible.
we just did the Enlightenment Expo a couple of weeks ago, which we had Dee Dee on, talking about, Dee Dee Eaton, talking about the preparations for the Enlightenment Expo, and it was wonderful. And that's a place where people go to develop their gifts. That's a place where people go to find out what their gifts are, on how to work with their gifts, how to develop their gifts. That was a place where people gather to find their tribe.
Absolutely.
To find their people. And we did, actually, you and I did a ton of readings at that event, and it was fantastic. But a lot of the readings are either getting clarity on things that they already know, because a lot of times people already know this information. They're just coming to us for us to give them confirmation on something that they already know.
Right.
And I have flat out said to people, you don't need to come to me for a reading. You knew this before you sat down. You just wanted me to tell you yay or nay.
Right.
And that's what some of other readings, talking to their dead loved ones, is maybe something that they had sort of an inkling about. And maybe we were giving them confirmation on multiple different levels for them. But a lot of times people have more gifts than what they give themselves credit for.
Yeah.
And going to a psychic fair, for us, sitting on the other side of the table, we can sit and observe how people are so interested in all the gifts and their gifts and how to develop their gifts. And that's kind of what we do. Right. We help them with that.
And it's so much fun, and it's so rewarding to be able, when you're reading somebody, to be able to tell them what their gifts are and help them, direct them in their path, and give them some idea where they're going and how they're going to get there.
Yeah, I agree because everybody has a very, very special, unique way of doing whatever it is that they can do.
Absolutely.
So for somebody to find that out and have us confirm it for them, that really gives people a peace of mind. It really can boost their self-esteem. It can put a smile on their face. And it's an honor that they come and choose us.
Right. Absolutely.
Because you were pretty busy at that event, too.
I know. I loved it.
I know. It was awesome.
I don't know. I think I did like 12 or 14 readings.
Really?
Yeah. Good.
I did almost triple that.
I can't tell you. Yeah,
I did almost triple that.
I didn't keep track of it. I probably should have, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But
it was fun.
Wonderful.
It was a really good event, and it's so that's another way for you guys to develop your gifts is maybe go to a local psychic fair or go into a local metaphysical shop, see what they have to offer for classes.
Right.
Our classes, like I said before, can be, for many of them, some of our classes can be available through Skype. So, check out our website, www.ChrisAnn-Jeff.com, and that's a great way to develop some of your gifts, is to take some classes. Of course, read some books. There's some wonderful books, wonderful articles. I know I've written some articles that are out there that are great. What other ways?
Well, what I'm getting from my guides is just to tell people that start practicing using your intuition.
Right.
Because no matter where you go and how you divine, whether it's tarot or no matter what it is that you do, whether it's runes or anything else, you're going to get messages through your intuition that goes so far beyond the card that you pull or the stone that you turn. And you can start with a pendulum.
Right. I was just going to say a great way to get started that I always suggest to people is a pendulum.
Right.
And we have them on our website. Go check them out. They start at $10 on our website, and you've carved the ones that we have on the website.
To be perfectly honest, you can start with a coin.
You can start with a coin. Flip it. Yes or no?
Assign, yeah. Heads, yes. Tails, no.
Right.
Ask the question, flip the coin, ask for specific answers,
Right.
ask for your intuition to guide you in the answer. And what you'll find is that your questions and your intuition will lead you down a storyline of what's going on.
Another way that I like to do a little game. Well, I've got a couple of little games, actually, that I've used. One of them is I like to guess who's calling when the phone's ringing before I look at my caller ID.
It's always your mother.
No, it's not.
I can tell you that. And then she calls me.
If I don't answer, she'll call you. So keep it up. I'm not going to answer. No, but that's kind of a fun way. Now you're in trouble. But that's kind
she
of
doesn't listen to our show.
No, she doesn't have a computer. So that's a fun way to sort of develop your gifts. Another way, and this is a game that you can do with children. And this is what I used to do with my son, because my son was nonverbal for many, many, many years. So it doesn't matter whether you're verbal or not verbal. So what I did is I got 2 bags. So they were like little makeup bags. And then within those 2 different bags, I bought the exact same tumbled crystals. So when I would go and buy stones, I'd buy 2 of each. Cool. So I would buy 2 clear quartz, 2 rose quartz, 2 smoky quartz, 2 whatevers. I had 2 of everything. So I would put one set into one bag and another set into another bag. So I would pull one out and I would hold it in my closed hand so he couldn't see it within my fist. And then I would say to him, okay, go into your bag, pick a stone that is like this stone that's in my hand that you can't see. You pick a stone and see if you get the right one. And that was a really fun game that we used to play.
That sounds fun.
And then we can play it too. It's not just for kids. But that's a fun way to develop your intuition, to see, you remember in the movie Ghostbusters where they would hold up the card and the student would have to guess whether it was a squiggly line or a wavy line. It was kind of on the idea of that. But my son was very much resonating with crystals, and he loved crystals, and he used to love to collect crystals. So this was a really fun way for us to use the crystals.
That's cool.
And play a game. Yes, we did that for a long time. Yeah, and I bought these beautiful little bags to put them in. So we sell crystals on the website. So if anybody's interested in that, we can create those for you. So once again, the website, www.ChrisAnn-Jeff.com. So, yeah, that's a really fun way to develop your intuition, to work on, even for adults, even for couples, to work on that. I know
we could do it with runes.
We could do it with runes, absolutely. You can do it with almost anything. Yeah. But it was an excuse to buy more crystals.
Oh, that's always good.
Not that I needed an excuse, but him and I used to love to go to wherever to buy crystals. We would go all over. And of course, I was doing readings years ago in a crystal store, so I could pick up crystals. But we used to go to the powwows and pick up crystals, and we would go all over. Yeah, I'd be shopping in Salem and pick up crystals, and he used to like to go to Salem with me.
That's nice.
Yeah. As he gets older, some of these things change. Yeah. He'd rather go to the Lego store. Yeah. If they had a Lego store in Salem, I'd be golden. But there is a toy store there. Yeah. So, these are just some ways to work with children, work with adults. It's really fun to get everybody involved, to get everybody going and develop everybody's gifts. Because you might think it's developing the gifts for the kids, but they're really the ones helping you to develop your gifts.
Well, that's true, too. And that's another point. We start out very gifted as children.
Absolutely.
And the gifts are squashed and they're pushed out and pushed away as we get older. We start sinking ourselves into what people call reality.
Right. But what is reality?
Reality is what you make it.
Right. True.
And the problem is so many adults turn their backs on,
the gifts.
everything that they can see, only what they can see.
Right. And it's kind of sad because there's so much more.
Unfortunately, they don't believe everything they see.
No, that's true. That's a great point.
I mean, because we can show them, we can...
they can feel energy.
They can feel energy.
Right.
I mean, I watched a video recently about people experiencing the feel of energy from this young man that was running around the shopping mall.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Right.
And, all these people were saying that, oh, that's baloney, blah, 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 blah. He's just manipulating his magnetic field of his body. And well, so what?
Nonetheless.
What
yeah,
kudos
still energy.
To him, right?
I know.
So, it's like, I don't like to put limits on anybody or anything.
No, I had a woman come into the shop today. Actually, you weren't here. You were at another job, and I had a woman come into the shop today, and she was looking for amber because she knew the power of amber is really good for working with pain.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, I showed her a couple different amber pieces that we have here in the shop, and one of them actually was copal, which is baby amber, before it's amber. So it was copal, and I had wire wrapped it actually, and I had wire wrapped some chakra balancing crystals,
cool.
A whole set of chakra crystals onto the copal, and she put it on, and she said, "This is the one I want. I can feel my leg getting better already." And I was like, "Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
that's wonderful." And she had sat with the piece for a little bit before she had said, "Yep, This is the one I want." And when she finally said, yep, and she put it on and she wore it, she's like, "Yes, I can feel it. I can feel the energy of this working." Good. So whether that was psychosomatic or whether that was real, who cares? It was still doing the effect that she wanted and she needed.
Yeah, that's something that always kind of burned my lunch, too.
I know.
People, oh, that's psychosomatic. Well, so what?
It's still better than going and spending $100 on a medication that might give you side effects. Not that we're doctors and not that we're saying don't take your meds.
Right, but some of the side effects are like,
worse.
Please, give me a bullet now.
They're worse. They're much,
they're
much
worse than whatever the problem is.
Right.
That's why I like what we do so much.
We use them.
And, truth to tell, Reiki doesn't always work on my headaches.
No, it doesn't.
Reiki doesn't always work on pain and the things that I'm going through. But that's why I have ibuprofen, and essential oils.
Right. And there are times that I could not be without Reiki energy.
Right.
Reiki energy and the essential oils and the crystals help me immensely. I'm always wearing different rings and different bracelets and different earrings, and because they're all crystals, and I know which crystals to wear for what I need for that day, or they tell me what I'm going to be needing that day. And sometimes it's like, do I really need you today? It's going to be that type of day.
Well, sometimes I make mistakes, too, and wear the wrong ones, and that's bad.
Right. And then you realize in retrospect that you should have listened to that voice in your head that was guiding you.
Well, I didn't get any guidance on the last time I'm thinking of. I didn't get any guidance on it. It was a piece that I used to love a lot, and I stopped wearing it for some reason, and after wearing it for a couple of days, I remembered why that I had stopped wearing it.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, because it was a beautiful, high vibrational quartz point paired up with a lapis stone, and it just completely opened up my empathic gifts to the point where my defenses were down.
Right. It was too much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whew.
It was way too much.
Yes, I have my lapis ring on today because my throat chakra needs to be opened up while I'm on the radio. So my lapis is here, and it is on my right-hand side, so the energy can flow out, which is what I need it to be. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we use our crystals, we use our oils, we use our gifts, we use all of these things.
And so let's talk for a minute about spirit guides.
Sure, absolutely.
Now, the gifts that you have don't necessarily have to be from within you. Mm-hmm. There are gifts that are brought to you through spirit guides and listening. Sometimes the voice that you're listening to is not your intuition.
Right.
Sometimes the voice you're listening to is a past loved one. It's somebody that has passed that you knew in a previous lifetime. Right. It could be an energy being.
Right. It could be an angel. It could be a loved one. It could be a totem animal. It could be a spirit animal. It could be...
Who knows? A multitude.
Could be, right. It could be a whole bunch.
I mean, let's face it. Everything that has physical shape ever at one time or another, even those things that have never had physical shape, all vibrate and have energy.
Right, true.
Every cell, every organism, everything has vibrational energy. So the guides, the information you're getting could be coming from another source, an energy being that has chosen to help you.
And the more we're open to that, the more we're available to listen, the more we allow the messages to come in, the more we can benefit from them or benefit other people.
Absolutely. Actually, that is how I came up with that one essential oil blend that everybody seems to love. Against all odds, I call it Pain Gone.
Right.
But
we're
it's been
changing it to is it Archangel Raphael?
Yeah, Raphael oil. Yeah, whatever.
We call it both things.
Yeah. So someone I care for very deeply had a need for pain relief and couldn't get pain relief through drugs because of from allergic reactions.
I had surgery. You can say it was me.
Okay.
I had surgery and I could not use the drugs that the hospital had because of allergies.
So obviously I love her and I wanted to do everything I possibly could. There had to be something that I could do.
Right.
And I listened to these voices and they told me what combinations of things to do. And I did. And
you mailed it to me, and it got to me before my surgery.
Yeah.
And I told my doctor, this is what I'm bringing in. This is what I'm going to be using. And she knows all about me. Yeah. And she's like, okay, that's fine. And, I had my bag of crystals. I had my oil, and I was using it the whole time I was in the hospital. Yeah. And home recovering. And since then, I carry it always. In my pocketbook as well, because I use it
too.
I use it on my animals.
Yeah.
I use it on us.
We sold some of it. I remember the first show after I got here.
Yeah.
The first show that we did, we sold a very small bottle to another vendor at the show.
Who was a Reiki
practitioner.
Yeah, I think she was a Reiki master. Yes.
And she was using it, and there was somebody that ran up to her that had a really horrendous paper cut and was dying, and she said they put it on them.
And we kind of cringed when we heard that.
Cringing, because of the ingredients. I'm like, ooh, that must have burned like fire. Right. And it turns out that it works on open cuts.
Right. And you since tried it, not purposely getting an open cut, but you have tried it on
open cuts. And it works.
Right.
So, there are a multitude of things that you can do with this information that the others give you.
Right. And it's just because you opened up and you
Right.
listened in creating that particular oil blend as just one example.
Right.
Look at how many people you've helped just with an oil blend.
Yeah.
And
I
opening
sent
up your
some-
intuition.
I sent some out actually yesterday
Mm.
to a friend of ours that had a big order that went out.
Mhm.
She's having to do special, I forget what they call it, but some kind of special neuro shocks and stuff to try and control the pain that she has.
Is she doing the TENS unit?
Yeah.
Yes. Those are horrendous.
I have no idea what it is. But
For what I have, they had tried those on me years and years and years ago, and to me it was torture.
Yeah.
And I basically threw it back at them.
So-
but it works different for everybody. But I
Right.
think the
She-
oil will be good for her.
I had sent her a free sample of
Yeah,
it.
that's fantastic.
And,
yeah, I think she could benefit from it.
she tried it and she said it was the only thing that worked.
Oh, good.
And so she couldn't afford it right now, so I sent her a bottle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
She said that she would pay for it her next
Yeah,
order.
and she's got a
So,
good heart. So and
Yeah.
she's a regular customer of ours.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she really is. She really, really is. Yeah. So cool. So because we listen, because we open up, of course, I think you listen to them more than you listen to me.
Right?
But that's okay. You're learning. You're learning.
Yeah.
I'm still training you, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I listen to the important information wherever it comes from.
Right. No, I mean you're very aware. You're much more aware because I think you're so open. But not only are you open with your gifts, but you're open with your heart. And I think that's another key thing, that you have to be open with your heart. You have to be trusting and believing that these things are of the highest and best good.
Right.
And it's easier to do that as a child because they're not tainted, shall we say, by society.
Well, I've been able to somewhat return myself to that child heart state
Yes.
because of the fact that even though I've been hurt horrendously
Mhm.
throughout my life by so
Right.
many people,
Right.
I recognize that each person is an individual.
Mhm.
And just because one person hurts me doesn't mean that
Right.
everybody's, not everybody's
But that was
like
part
that.
of your lesson. It was part of your soul's journey.
Right.
And you finally listened.
So I
You finally
can't
learned.
I can't let it go for those individuals that did it, but I'm
No.
able to move past it
Right.
and accept other people in my life
Right.
and be able to fully trust them because I realize they aren't that person.
Correct.
So
Yeah, those
sometimes
other
we need to cut and let go.
those other crazy women that you picked in the past aren't me.
Oh, I know that. I know that. You got your own crazy.
us two different sock women.
So,
I know, and now it's a fad. Now people will purposely buy two different socks. I started this fad long time before that.
yeah, well, we'll leave the pajamas at home.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not go into that fad.
Hey.
No Walmart pictures, please.
You like my? Oh no, I don't wear pajamas out. Just in the house. Just
Yeah,
in
well,
the
that's
shop
fine.
when nobody's around.
That's fine.
Yeah, no. But I think there's something to be said for opening up, listening, paying attention to the gifts, being welcoming
Oh, absolutely.
of the gifts that are coming in. And, everybody has a gift. Everybody has a talent. Everybody has something special that's unique to them. So you know what? There's nothing wrong with tooting your own horn.
Well, that's true. And I would say also trust other people to come in and share their gifts with you as well, because their gifts may not affect you in any way whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, something in their gifts may spark something of a recognition in you for a
good
direction
point.
for your gifts to go.
That's a great point. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, because people come into our lives for a reason to
Absolutely.
hold the mirror up to us.
Right.
And whether it be something that really pushes our buttons.
I mean, since I've met you, there have been a
Wait
lot
a minute,
of...
I just said push buttons, and now
No,
you...
no. This
Okay,
is
go
different.
ahead. All right, go ahead,
So,
go ahead.
since I didn't know anything about the Akashic Records till I met you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then you introduced me to the Akashic Records.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we worked in the Akashic Records together for a
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I access them now, but I access them my way.
Right.
So there's a number of things that we've worked. You were my Reiki Master instructor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of my Reikis, Reiki
Right.
1, Reiki 2, Reiki Master.
Right.
I got my Reiki Master teacher from you.
Yep.
So now that you did that, it opened me up to create my own Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Which is a wonderful gift that you're going on to share with other people.
right. So, you know, we're all
And
put
that
on
was-
this
And
earth.
that was downloaded. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, Greg.
Yeah.
But that was downloaded into you.
It's still
It's
coming.
still downloading, right? But because you have the ability to trust, listen, and believe, you have allowed that information to be downloaded into you so that you can take that and go forth and do some amazing, wonderful things with it.
Well, that's stuff I love.
Yeah, it is.
I have a passion for the runes and what I do with the
Mm-hmm.
runes.
Absolutely. And you're exceptionally good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm happy to say that. But interesting. So we have developed so many different gifts over this lifetime. But how many gifts have we developed over our many lifetimes? And I think those click in when they need to.
Right.
I
That's
think-
what I believe as well.
Right, because I've seen it happen to you. And I think that maybe we have been, I don't know, I'm going to use an example of one of my past lives. I think maybe in one of my, well, not maybe, I know in one of my past lives, I was somebody that was working with herbs and creating. And in this lifetime, you know, by using the essential oils, by using some of the herbs that I use in my spell work, but using the essential oils mostly in my healing work for myself and my family especially, it really harkens back to that lifetime then when I trusted and believed in nature
Right.
and in the power of nature. And that just kind of comes in when it needs to come in.
Well, that's where I get my gifts from. I pull them
Right.
from the past.
Right.
I search my past lives.
Right. And it's
And-
wonderful.
You know, it's always so funny. You know, I know a person that I'm thinking of specifically
Mm-hmm.
that has done. They think they've researched their past lives and whatnot, and they tell me this person tells everybody that in a past life he was a god.
Oh, I know what you mean.
It is like,
yes.
all I can think of when he comes across with this is like, what did you do, buddy, that you got the karma that you are who you are in this
In
life?
this life,
You
if
know?
that's what you were in that life, and look at
you
you now.
if you were a god, would you not be immortal? So what
Right.
did you do that made you
You're shunned with us.
the wonderful person you are now? So anyway, I
Yeah.
always find that humorous, and I basically I could care less what my name was or who I was in a past life.
Mhm.
I know some of the names, and I know
Right.
some of who I was then.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the key word. Then.
Right. And not everybody was a queen or a
Right.
king, or not everybody was an aristocrat. Not everybody was wealthy. Not everybody was an inventor.
Right. What's so much more important to me was, what did I do then?
Right.
What did
How
I
did you make
do
a
then that I can pull forward to now and
True.
be able to use to help people?
True. And I think that a lot of times, I know when people come to me, they view it kind of as a novelty to see what they were in a past life.
Right.
And when I get into the nitty gritty of it, and then, everybody starts crying when they come to me, which is fine because I'm glad they're comfortable. But when I really affect them on an emotional level, out the window goes the novelty, and then we hit on what's really going on.
Well, and have you ever had somebody come to you with all these wild expectations of being so wonderful, and turns out they were some kind of peasant, or slave to the pharaoh or something?
Yes, we've all been peasants. We've all been that.
I know.
We're not all pharaohs.
Right.
And,
there weren't that many.
No. And when they come to me thinking that I'm going to tell them that they've been the Queen of England 10 times over, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Yeah.
So
I actually knew somebody that was trapped in their past lives. And it was so sad.
It is sad.
To
I know
see
what
them
you mean.
living their life and being so miserable.
Right.
That they were pulling attachments from their past life and reattaching with past life attachments. And it was tragic.
It is. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, because, it's wonderful to have the information, but it's, many people have died tragically. There wasn't wonderful medicines and advanced medical technology.
Right.
300 years ago. And if you
was thousands of years ago.
Well, exactly. But if you got stabbed, chances are you were going to have a shorter life than somebody that didn't get stabbed.
Right.
So, if I'm going to give you that information, don't get hung up on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's my responsibility to word it appropriately.
I've had some horrendous lives.
Many people have.
Tragic. I remember one time we were driving through Salem.
Yeah.
One of the first trips
I remember that.
Where we drove through Salem, and I recognized a wall there, and it sent me into a past life remembrance.
Right.
And it was horrendous. It was tragic. Watching my mother and my sister being chained to the wall, tortured as witches.
Right.
And I was a little girl.
Right.
Watching this and died 3 years later myself.
Which
because
is sad.
nobody wanted me.
Yeah.
I ended up sick and died. And it's in the past.
Well,
But we never know.
I'll take you in this life.
Yeah.
Right, and
we
the
never
thing
know
about that is
when these are going to come to us.
And you can't get hung up on that.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people do. I get people that come to me with some serious health problems or some serious fears and paralyzing fears. And for instance, a fear of deep water tends to be that you drowned.
Right.
Or a fear of heights tends to be you possibly fell off a cliff or something like that, So
now, respect of heights is a good thing, as is water.
Right. You can't get hung up on that. Another one that I see a lot is people that have asthma in this life. Sometimes they passed away during a fire, during smoke inhalation.
Oh.
So they couldn't breathe then, and they have a hard time breathing now. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, you need to sort of cut ties with some of these past lives. So some of the information can be knowledgeable, and sometimes it can hang you up. So you really need to take the information and not dwell.
Right, and it's always good to go to a professional that can help you to cut from that at the same time that you get the information.
Right.
If it's negative.
Right.
Wow, we've covered a wide gambit of stuff tonight.
We have. Lots and lots of gifts.
It's been really fun.
What to do with the gifts, what not to do with the gifts.
Yep.
But mostly it's listen, pay attention.
And be open.
And be open. And, there's also a sense of, it's an honor. I know for us, you and I both, we recognize what an honor it is for us to be able to be called to do this work. Because this is our full-time job. This is what we do.
And I don't mean to come across as being conceited or anything, but it should be an honor to those that we help, that we're here to help them as well.
Well, okay.
But I'm serious. I mean, there are people that I help.
Yes.
And that I have helped
I know
in
what you're
the
talking
past.
about. Yes.
And, sometimes they aren't
They're very
all that grateful.
Right. And not that we expect people to be grateful, but when you're very indignant.
Right.
That's where it's offensive to us.
Well, especially when I've helped them for free.
Right. Right. We've already talked about that on another show. But there's a sense that we're giving of our time.
Right.
We appreciate being compensated for it, but we're giving of our time. We're giving of our energy.
Yeah. And oftentimes, people that come to us get a lot more than what they pay for.
Oh, absolutely.
Energy-wise and continued energy-wise, right. Because I know there have been a lot of people that I have helped that even once they're done with their paying, I still send them energy.
We still send
every
energy.
time I think of them and their need.
Right.
And wonder how they are. I continue to send them positive energy.
Right. I agree. I did the same thing.
Yeah. I know you do.
Yeah, and it's wonderful that we can continue to do that.
Yeah.
It's great. It's an honor for us.
It is. And, to be perfectly honest, it's really not anything I regret. I happily do it.
Yeah, true. And we don't, even though we're on the radio talking about it, we don't do it to get recognition because most of the time people have no idea that's what we're doing.
Right.
Of course we have permission because we had done it before and, there's all that. But we continue to send something that we've already sent to begin with.
Yeah, the guy that I did all that energy work to try and help him find his real partner.
Right.
That he so desperately needs in his life. Every time I think of him, I send him energy to that end. Right.
Which is nice. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I'm curious if it worked.
I know. It'd be nice if you would call. Right.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I'd hear from
him.
him.
We'll do a reading on it.
That's true. I can. Yeah.
We can look at it that way. But it's great having the ability that we can hopefully guide people in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then their gifts can take over from there.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. All the different ways to get in touch with us. So if you want to get in touch with us through our website, it's www.ChrisAnn-Jeff.com. On Facebook, Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff is a great way to message us. On Twitter, at ChrisAnn1234, and then you're on Twitter at meyoucar, MEYOUCAR. You're also on there as at Psychic Jeff or something like that. I don't know. We got to look up that exact one. But go to meyoucar.
That's the easy one.
Right. But mostly, frankly, the easiest way is to either email us through the website, ChrisAnn-Jeff.com, or on Facebook, Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff. Those are probably the two primary ways to get in touch with us. I know a lot of the listeners get in touch with me through Twitter as well, and that's fine. Get in touch with me at ChrisAnn1234, and also on Instagram, ChrisAnn1234. So we post all of our fun things on Instagram too. So those are all the ways to get in touch with us. We are always thrilled to get some feedback or to find out topics that you would like us to talk about for future radio shows.
And if it's something we don't know, we'll research it and talk about it anyway.
And we'll butcher the name of it. Just like we did tonight. So, feel free to get in touch with us. We love the feedback. That would be absolutely fantastic. So, once again, the website, if you'd like to go purchase any of our products or take some classes, it's www.ChrisAnn-Jeff.com. ChrisAnn-Jeff.com.
And if there's anybody that practices hippomancy, please contact us because I'd love to hear about it.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to Elemental Energies with ChrisAnn and Jeff. You've been listening live on the Pagan Business Network Radio. Thank you so much. Be free.